Good afternoon. Oh, I think I've had my glasses on so long now I can barely see properly. Whew. I am very tired, I must say, but I woke up at 3:33 this morning and I haven't been back asleep. So usually when I get woke up at those times, there's usually some kind of message to be given, and it was kind of weird because they was talking about me. And because this video is called Loving Relating, and I'm always asking about how do we, my question is, how do we change the vibration of the planet with love? And we're talking about self-love and blah blah blah. So peace, my dear, how you doing? So I was quite taken aback because they started showing me, but they showed me about my progression and what I've had to go through in regarding relationships. I mean, in my lifetime, I've had 2 major relationships. One was, I was married for about 11 years, if that, give or take a couple, I'm sure. And then one before that when I was in England. So I've not really had lots of relationships. I've had relatings, supposed to speak, but not relationships. And so when they asked me to look over my life and speak about it from the terms of from where I've come from, because one of the questions was, I'm single. I'm like, yeah, and I understand it now. I perfectly understand it now, which I'll get to. I'm into Yoruba. My way of life is Ifa, the Orishas. And when I first came into this, I was married. So there was never a question of looking anywhere else. But then other things came up, and this old man, I don't know if you, may his soul rest in peace, Baba Nyabinghi, I went to see him one time, a good few years ago. And he looked at me, I mean, he was a very spiritual man. And he looked at me and he said, wow, you got people hating on you. I was like, what? He's like, oh yeah, you got people trying to kill you. And it's because of certain relationships. And I'm like, what? And he said, but don't worry. And he started laughing. He said, they can't do nothing. I was like, oh. So at that time, he gave me a few things that I needed to do in order to cleanse myself and clear myself of the energies that was sending at me. And it seems like over the years, that kept happening. And even when I look at my relationship in regards to me being married, I was like, okay, the question that I ended up asking myself, and I remember speaking to my best friend who passed away about this, over the years. Why do I seem to attract those that are unavailable or that other people want all the time? And neither one of us could answer the question. So as time has gone on and on and on, Spirit has kept me working on me. And so now understanding my connection, I start asking certain questions. So I asked, what is it about me that attracts those that are unavailable emotionally, or that others seem to want to take from me? And they said, first of all, are you available? I'm like, what? Are you available? Do you see yourself as being available? And I was like, well, what does that mean? Because it kind of put me on Front Street. And I was like, am I available? Am I emotionally available? Put it this way, that whole scenario took me on a journey of self. And that journey made me look at me to see if I'm available emotionally, mentally, my heart open for a relationship that I'm looking for, or a relationship that I'm wanting. Am I really open for that? If my heart is closed, no, I'm not open for it. If I'm holding on to things from my past, I'm not open for that. If I've got doubts and fears and worries about my old relationship, I'm not open for anything, because it showed me that when you have all these issues about yourself, you can't be open and completely open with somebody else. So they took me on the journey of looking at myself, and looking at myself, it was like, let's learn about you. Let's learn about you. Let's learn about, are you really emotionally available? Is your heart open? Are you open to love? Even if love showed itself to you in a relationship, are you open to receive that? Are you, not only are you open to receive that, are you open to give back, to the reciprocation of that space? Are you open to that? And I was like, yo, that when I say when Spirit wants to show you yourself and then wonder why things happen, it's like, oh, I had to take a good long look. But in doing that, like I said, but let me go back a good few years ago. I don't know if I've said this before on one of my other videos. There was my beautiful friend Maria. She's an amazing medium. And she said to me, oh, you're supposed to be by yourself. This is after a reading, and at the end she said you're supposed to be by yourself. And there was another guy that was translating at that time. But that's what she said. And I heard it, but then I kind of dismissed it because, you don't want to hear stuff like that. So fast forward, I'm looking at that space and I'm like, you know what? In order for me to do me like I'm doing me now, because I give of myself, because I've gone through so much of opening up, put it this way, back in the day when I was younger, I used to have this the fairy tale thing of, I know how I feel about love and how I give off love. And if that thought about love in that fairy tale aspect, if it exists and I feel it exists in me, it exists somewhere that somebody out there feels like I do, and they're going to give us what I'd get. I mean, they'd give me the same. And so I was like, that's what I did. I was like, it's got to exist, but for some reason, that's not the energy I'm getting back. So again, that's when it took me on the journey of watching myself, looking at myself and asking myself, what is it that I'm missing in me? Or what is it that I'm not registering me, that I'm not attracting what I need, or not even what I need, what is like me? And so in taking a good look at myself, looking at my own insecurities, because I'm never saying I didn't have any, you know what I mean? And yes, I've got stronger now because I own me. In any relationship that I've had to own me and own me completely. The good, bad, and indifferent. But this situation, or this progression of being alone in a space of time, allowed me to look at, watching other people's relationships and be like, oh, hell no. I don't do that. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not accepting that. And what it did was like, put me in a space, one of my other BFFs, Bemi, she brought something to my attention and she was like, you don't have to say about what you don't want. You only have to focus on what you want. You don't never have to speak about what you don't want. What's the point? If you don't want it, why does that even have to be like, say, oh, I don't do this, I don't do polygamy, I don't do this, what's the point in expressing what you don't want? Only express what you do. And when that concept came, I was like, yo, that made perfect sense. So going back, what this did was allowed me to look at me and nurture me, start to love on me, because I'd never had the concept of understanding what love was meaning to me, about loving me. I had all this emotion in me that's saying I wanted to give out. But, was I nurturing me to say what others want to give to me is not what I'm deserving? So, like I said, when they brought this to my attention this morning, I was like, you really gonna make me start talking about me? And I was like, well, this, when I give ideas or concepts, what better person to talk about is yourself? At least if others can see their situation in, or, see themselves in what you're talking about, it may make sense. So like I said, so being on the single tip, I watched and I was like, you know what? In the next relationship I get into, I'm not arguing with anybody. Do you know why? Because first and foremost, what I understand, you cannot make anybody do what they don't want to do. You cannot change a person. And when, the simplicity of relating to each other is basically being honest and honorable. If I'm going to love me completely and love me in a way that my expression is that you are free to be who you are. Now, if your freedom of who you are doesn't coincide with my life, who am I to be upset with that? I shouldn't. I can't. I have to be okay with you being you because I'm doing me. And if me doing me means that what you're giving, I'm not accepting, that's okay. But I'm telling you, it took a long time for me to understand that space, because I had to get into me. I had to learn about me, the things that I wanted, the things that I desired, the things, my needs, being vocal about what I want in a relationship, how I feel about sex, all of that. I had to get to understand me in a way that I hadn't really looked at. And I suppose when Spirit was like, yo, this is not the time for you to be in any relationship. Why? Because you got work to do. When I say the difference a year or 2 years has made in my life has been transformative. The fact that I come out here and speaking about myself and my situations, and I'm like, yo, I don't know, I'm a very private person, very private, I can't get deep enough, very private, and don't want nobody in my business. But they're telling me that to express myself from a standpoint of what I had to go through or what I've been through can allow others to see that scenario in their own lives and maybe gain something from it. So like I said, in this space of me taking care of me and looking after me, I had to learn about me, learn to love me, and learn to know what that felt like. When I say my whole world is transformed in ways that I could never have even fathomed, you know what I mean, in what I attract, and like I said, the ancestors have already said to me right now, just erase from your mind anything to do with relationship right now. Your journey is of service. It's not saying that I'm going to be alone forever. Not talking about that. They're just saying your journey right now is of service. And so when if it means that I have to talk or do the things I do to get this message out about love, because like I said, this journey is taking me from looking externally to looking at myself about divine love and divine wisdom and how the ancestors work and how that wisdom works through us, and being a vessel to allow that wisdom to love through us, or to learn to love, because it's only love that loves through me that allows me to want to do this. You know what I mean? I don't get paid for nothing. It's not even about money. This is about changing the vibration of this planet with love, and I had to start with me. So when it comes into relatings and relationships, I understood what I needed to understand about me. And so, like I said, I got woke up at 3:33. It's funny. Okay, let me open my eyes, because I had to get up about 6 to go to work, to get ready for work. So I looked on my phone to see the time, and I see 3:33. I was like, yo, you're kidding, right? I went to the restroom and I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to sleep. Yeah, right. They gave me a few downloads about a few different things. But this was the other one that come up about talking about myself and relationships. And I say relationships because, you know, regardless of who you come in contact with, you are relating with them on some level. There has to be some type of learning that you get from the connection. And the reason they bring it all the way back to this aspect of love, because if you don't have that energy of love within you, you kind of accept a lot of stuff that you don't really want. So going back to what my sister said, she said, you know, why even discuss what you don't want? Only talk about the things you do. And if they're not offering what you're wanting, it's okay. Keep it moving. Because I know in my soul, and like I said, the ancestors said to me, chill out right now. You got to be focused on changing the vibration of this planet with love. Okay? You have to be focused on that. So because I love so strongly or so deeply, my attention would be too much in another way, where my focus needs to be doing what I do for my journey moving forward. It's not saying that, you know, I mean, I cannot share, but right now, in the time that I'm in, I have to focus on what I've come here to do. And I get it. Like I said, you know, I don't see it as a space of being lonely. No, I'm not lonely. I've never been lonely. I've not been without, if that, you know, I mean, if that's the case, I'm not. Yet I've understood and I've learnt the understanding that in order to love in a great relationship or relatingship, I have to very much know and love me. It's like, you know, our connection with Orisha and Ifa. If you don't know how to love you, how are you going to love Orisha that way? Because that same love is a part of each other. It's like it is not separate. You know what I mean? That love is that there's an unconditional reciprocation space in it. But you got to learn that from you first, you know? And so, like I said, the journey that it took me through and learning about me and understanding about me, I'm eternally grateful for, because that wisdom has put me in a space that if I just allow spirit to work through me, and I've been talking to, you know, some of my clients, the stuff that comes out, I stop and I'll be like, yo, that pertains to me. Didn't know it, didn't even think about it before, but because I'm a vessel and I accept that and I love that, because they'll never give me something that's not relevant. And so that, like they said, loving in relating, 111. So I'm keep seeing these triple digits or 4 digits, but the aspect of loving self first allows you to be open to love it, allowing another love to come into you. Because if you are authentic to you, and you've done your work, you've done your shadow work, you've done the things about you, you've healed the things about you that, you know, that other relationships may have caused problems or caused situation, caused wounds. When you, peace and love, Ish, how you doing? You know, if you've done that work to heal you on certain aspects, then there's those things that you don't have to revisit again. And I mean, you don't have to revisit them, meaning that when that scenario or a situation arises that is similar to what you've been through, you're wiser now to deal with it without having to go through it. Because you don't always have to go through mistakes to learn something. You can have a scenario that you go through one time and you learn from that. You are much wiser for that. And then the same situation could be different people now, can come around again, or something similar could come around again. But because you've been through something similar or with different people, you now know how to operate. Like I said right now, my thing is, I don't argue with anybody. If I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody, I don't have to argue with you about nothing. We can have differences of opinion all day, every day, and we can discuss it. And in that discussion, you're going to hear my space and I'm going to hear yours. And in that discussion, we're going to enlighten each other on aspects or perceptions that we may not see via our own space. But to argue, I don't have the energy in my solar plexus. I don't even want that type of, that feeling, that unbalanced space. I don't even want that in my space. So in order to not have that in my space, I've got to operate in a way that I don't have that happen. So again, they put me through certain things in order for me to learn certain things. And these certain things were I can't stop people from hating on me. I can't change people hating on me. I can't stop people jujuing me. Because like I said, what I will do, go to Ifa. Because the thing is, it's not always, and especially in this tradition, it's not always people are going to be all up in your face telling you, I don't like you. Why do you get out my face? And this, that, the other. No, there's going to be trying to sneak attacks. But trust me, and this is the same thing. This is the blessings of the ancestors. The ancestors will come into your dreams. The ancestors will speak in somebody else's dreams. The ancestors will bring other people to you and give you the information that you need. So when you do, you go to Ifa, you ask what's going on. Ifa gives you the prescription. You do the Eba, keep it moving. That energy that was meant to try and destroy you is now been dissipated or done whatever it needs to do. And the person who is responsible that, well, hey, it's not even a concern of mine anymore. Why? Because it's not my concern. My concern was, if something is coming at me, what do I need to do to remove it? Ifa has spoken, and it has been done, and I keep it moving. And in doing that, like I said, one of the other things was, when you got people hating on you, they're going to be shooting those arrows up. Especially in relationships, there's too much conflict when it comes to relationships with other people. And a lot of it, again, stems from how much you love yourself. How much do you love you that you're not willing to go through anything just to be in one? And like I said, I observe, and I'm like, I'm not willing to sacrifice how I feel in me to be in a space with somebody else. You know, I'm in a space where I'm looking to grow. I'm looking to grow in massive ways. And I'm praying that the other person that's wanting to grow in great ways is wanting to do the same thing. But we are still as individual as we look, and still loving the way we are. That you're not responsible for my happiness, and I definitely ain't responsible for yours. So it's taken up until now, I mean, it's been a progression, but it's taken up until now for me to really understand that. You know what I mean? That I have a job to do, and I'm going to keep doing that job because this is what I came here for. I'm very clear about that. I keep saying, yes, Oba, Iyolode, all of that was not for naught. And I understand it, but with that comes responsibility. So my responsibility is to take care of that and to be in alignment, should I say, in alignment with that energy and where it wants to go. Now, if my attention gets swayed because of a relationship, my ancestors are going to be like, no, we ain't going to do that. Bring it right back. And so in doing that, I learned to be okay with it. But it took time. When I'm saying all this, when I came to America when? 1998. I got married in, I think, 2000, and I was divorced 2011. Okay, so we're talking, there's been a span of time that has taken place, and in that space of time, I've had to learn a lot of things. Some of them have been very hard, but needless to say, I've learned from it. Like I said, the days of arguing about anything is done. Not about to do it. I'm not about to hold anger. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying I don't get angry, because I'd be lying if I did. I just don't hold it. I allow that anger to come up, say what it's got to say, then keep it moving. I don't allow it to stay here. So when they brought it to me for me to talk about myself, I was very hesitant. I ain't even gonna lie. I was like, is it raining outside? Like, that's my reason for not wanting to come out, because it's raining. You know, as I'm not gonna do my lunchtime thing. But you know, since it didn't rain, I thought, okay, let me come out and do it. Plus, we were doing it was picture day today. So, but yeah. So anyway, loving relating, it brings it all the way back to loving self. And how you love self, and how you work through the lack of loving self, or work through the issues or the situations or the scenarios that have caused you the fears, the doubts, the worries, all those things that could have made you feel certain ways. Those come up for a reason, for you to deal with, for you to evaluate, for you to express, for you to let go of, whatever the case may be, in order for you to be a complete and whole being, allowing love to flow through you at all times. So I get it. I get the understanding. I understand it. You know, is my single space like a plague? No. I quite love it, quite frankly, because they're giving me so much more to work through to know me. And I say I know me so well. And it's taken its time, because I had to really, really be honest about me, what I liked, what I disliked, but I got to know me. And that's one of the best gifts you can give yourself, is to learning to understand you from every aspect, the good, the bad, and indifferent. What makes you tick? What makes you laugh? What makes you cry? What makes you angry? What are your triggers? You know what I mean? And I got a mouth on me. So when I say I ain't arguing, because I can. I can. And then that memory of an elephant, I don't forget shit. I don't forget nothing. So to alleviate those things from my space, I just say I'm not arguing with nobody. I'm not doing it no more. Been there, done that. And I know what it does. And I know what it does to my being. I know what it does to my equilibrium. And I refuse to allow another to take me off of my center. Just not about to do that. I'm trying. You know what? I've had these glasses on too long, because now my eyes are feeling like they're a bit shady, like I can't see properly. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, because I've got to go back inside now and get my babies to take them to recess. But thank you for listening to my little rant about love and loving me and loving relating ships and whatnot. But they said it was about me, so hey, here we go. I'm sharing a little bit about me. But I love you, and I love me too. And until the next time, yeah, take care. Peace out.